a conversation that we have to be honest about. And I think a lot of gents are not being honest when we are having this conversation. It's the boy child being left behind. How are you going to be left behind in a system that was created for you to succeed? The only way you can be left behind is if you are intentionally trying to get left behind. Because if I say to you right now, white people here in South Africa need equal rights. This BEE policy that we have is not fair on white people. You understand that they also need equal standing so they can succeed. It's not fair for white people. Good, they must live in a country where there's BEE and it prioritizes black people. You just rolled your eyes right now as a black man when I said that statement. You just rolled your eyes because you know this country was built for white people to succeed. They are like, what, 8-9% of the population, but they own 70% of the land. Any white person would ever say that to me, you would roll your eyes at. So every industry in this country and around the world is dominated by men. So you can't say to me a boy child is being left behind. No, they are intentionally going out of their way to be left behind. How are you going to say to ma'am, ma'am, give me 0. Give me 0. Obviously, you're going to be left behind, most. When your answer to every assignment is give me 0. Your biggest dream is to become a forest trader. Guys, we have to be honest. No child is being left behind. At least no boy child. Number 1. Number 2, women had to fight to get to where they are right now. Women had to fight. There was a time where women couldn't vote. They couldn't get a credit card. They couldn't get paid the same amount of money for the same amount of job. And I'm talking about worldwide. They had to fight. And it wasn't any boy or any man who was fighting for women's rights. Let's be honest. It's women who galvanized themselves to fight for equal pay, to fight for the vote, to fight for their own autonomy. It's a woman who did that. It's women doing that for themselves. So they got themselves here. Meanwhile, Tina, because we are used to cruising, the world is built for us. And then you are cruising, you are slacking. It's set up for you to succeed. So you can't say to the girls, what are you guys contributing? What? Any disadvantaged community, they have to fight to get to point B from point A. And I can use the same example with African Americans in America. Whenever we talk about Hollywood and in the entertainment business, you will always find like Asian Americans or Hispanics in America. They were like, it's not fair, it's not equal, where are we going to get representation? Black people in America had to fight to get a crumb of the bread. You know what I mean? They have to fight for that representation. Now all of a sudden you expect what to be given. If you want something, you have to fight for it. Any disadvantaged group fights for representation, especially as a black man. You should know this. For you to be able to vote in South Africa, you had to fight. People had to die. So women did the same thing. They were like, okay, now we are equal in the sense that democracy is here, 1994. But as women, what? They are still getting paid less. So they had to fight. The only way to out of the hood is what? Through education. So they took education seriously. When Forex is what you want to do. So what is a woman supposed to do? You can't say when we are getting left behind, amantombazana, what are they doing? When utatabo 0, every time you have to submit an assignment, it's the truth. Any disadvantaged community fights to get from point A to point B. But because when you have the advantage or the luxury to not have to fight that much, you are cruising. And now all of a sudden you get overtaken. Now all of a sudden it's too much. Like in America with entertainers, it's too much representation. Because now you're like, where's our turn to be on TV? Black Americans fought for that representation. Even though it's a crumb, but they still fought for it. The same thing with women. They fought to get to where they are. You understand? So let's be honest, you can't say the boy child is being left behind. There's no way. Every industry is dominated by a man. Every industry, even makeup and fashion is dominated by men. Chef, cooking, men. So if you are being left behind, it's because you want to be left behind, if we're being honest.
This whole conversation about the boy child being left behind, all that, cool. I don't think it's a matter of the boy child being left behind necessarily. Although there's a lot of truth in merit to what she's saying. And I think I even agree with the video. But I think something else I'd like to add to the conversation is that male mediocrity isn't being tolerated anymore. And men are having an issue with that. Because I used to think, right, not used to, this conversation made me think, okay, in my life, where have I seen the boy child left behind? And I see it in boys not wanting to participate in class activities in class, boys not wanting to do anything that is perceived as feminine within the class environment. All these things. And then that same behavior, that same nonchalantness is being kind of pushed, or it gets pushed into the work industry. And then other men tolerate it, yes, but now that more women are entering the workforce, to see their excellence, the way women handle themselves, to see the work ethic that women have versus the mediocrity that men offer. Now, I'm not saying automatically all women work harder than men. Absolutely not. I always look at the people first before the gender, personally, but in this conversation, it is about gender. But we have to think about these things holistically and look at the picture as a whole and not just focus on the individual part. Because in this conversation, a lot adds to the reasons as to why the boy child is being left behind and why men are in the positions they find themselves in now. There's a lot that goes into it. So just wanted to add my 2 cents in there.
The boy child is being left behind in this society. And we're going to have a huge problem. You know, you can have a feminist agenda all you want, but the reality is that you need strong and stable men to have a functional society. And that's non-negotiable. And for me, boys are being sent out into the world to go and fend for themselves without being adequately equipped with all the toolkits that they need to survive. And yet the world miraculously expects them to be upstanding, strong men. You know? But asebenze ini, because this person is literally an infant in regards to all the aspects of survival that they need in the world. No one has taught him about discipline. No one has taught him about health and vitality, about confidence, about spirituality, about philosophy, values, integrity, work ethic, business acumen. So Lomuntu Mdala that is supposedly supposed to go and work and fend for themselves is really, for me, a joke. And so for me, we need to differentiate between being pro-women and anti-young boys, because they need guidance and they need to be absorbed into the system, because the system right now is not friendly to the young black boy. And if you don't find a solution for this, we're going to have lots of problems, because even you, who is not for this agenda, you must understand that the world is a complex, interconnected system of variables that are connected. Because who's going to marry these boys? There's an African idiom that says, the boy who didn't feel the love from the village will burn it down in order to feel the warmth. We think we have a GBV problem right now. We haven't even started. And the problem with us as South Africans in particular is that we are reactive, because GBV is systemic in not addressing issues of emotional intelligence, of anger management. Those are the things that you're supposed to be solving now at grassroots level, instead of having events at auditoriums and amphitheaters and having middle-aged men talking about GBV, which is, besides, it's a useless effort right now. So we need to be on the same page about how to advance and equip the young black boy.